Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger and my friends. Today we're continuing on with the Street Fighter 6 train, and specifically we're talking about Dhalsim. As Dhalsim, well, a lot of people are scared of Dhalsim even though the game isn't out yet. If you are unaware, Dhalsim throughout the history of Street Fighter is usually classically a pretty strong character, and in Street Fighter 5 especially he is very, very strong. And now, with the footage that is out there for Street Fighter 6 of him, well, it's looking pretty good for Dhalsim, let's put it that way, right? And it's already stoking fears if Dhalsim might potentially be overpowered in Street Fighter 6. So with the footage we now have and what we know currently in the game, I'm going to be showing you what exactly people are scared of and why they should be scared, and also why it might not be as bad as you might think. At the very least, some options that'll potentially be working against them in Street Fighter 6. So that said here, let's start with why exactly does Dhalsim look so strong in this game? Well, one part of it is simply the core moveset. Regardless of the game, Dhalsim has very big buttons, right? That's the core part of the character, and what makes him strong is that he can bop you in the head from very, very far away. And that, well, that's certainly not changing. The big normals are still going to be the big normals. The only thing we can really hope for is maybe not stand medium kick, as stand medium kick in Street Fighter 5 was pretty ridiculous, but still, he's definitely going to control the screen with his normals, as he should. Dhalsim needs the long-range pressure. That's the character. We never want to take that away from him. The issue people are having, and people are being scared of, is twofold. One, just exactly how big the arsenal is this time around, because it's kind of the biggest it's ever been. And two, how the system seems to benefit him, because he definitely works with the new gameplay systems pretty well. So let's go over the options Dhalsim has, because it's a lot. So first, a plain Jane fireball. So in Street Fighter 5, his regular fireball was angled, and if you wanted a normal arc fireball, you had to burn meter on it. So now, the regular fireball is just a regular fireball again. Actually, better yet, because you have the option to hold it, and it becomes a multiple hitting fireball with a knockdown built in. So you have the regular, the held, and whatever the Drive EX version will be. And the angled fireballs, it's not like they went away. It's part of his base moveset now. You can just do it as well. So you have straight and angled fireballs to work with. And the EX angled fireball, oh my word, it's pretty ridiculous, as multi-hitting, obviously enough, and if it misses, it will bounce towards you. Not away from you, towards you. So the bounce concept itself is not new, as that was in Street Fighter 5. If you did his V skill 2, it would enable his projectiles to bounce. But they would bounce along the path they were already going on, right? Not towards you if you managed to avoid it. So pretty wild. And also, you can just do this on demand. You don't have to use your V skill to set it up. So basically, the projectile game is looking pretty strong, you know, with these multiple angles of fireballs, charge held fireballs for multiple hits, all this kind of stuff, except we add on to it as he can do air fireballs now. Now, granted, at least there is a weakness. Dhalsim does get blown back a bit doing the move, so he can't pressure you immediately, and the projectile does not seem to go quite full screen. It does dissipate after a while. The thing, though, is the EX version of the move seems to go all the way across the screen, and that recovery time is gone, and you can follow up with whatever basically right away. In this example here, going directly into a yoga drill. So to say that the pressure is immense is understating it, I guess, because you can do basically two separate air attack actions in the air thanks to the EX. Then another question is, can he Tiger Knee this? Can he do these specials as low to the ground as possible? Tiger kneeing aerial moves is a big part of his pressure in Street Fighter 5 for sure, so can he repeat that in this game? Because also, naturally, he maintains access to his teleports as well. Those didn't go anywhere, so being able to do Tiger Knee gimmicks with those would be pretty important in Street Fighter 6. And speaking of maintaining things, his float is now part of his base moveset, so no more V-skill stuff, he can just do it whenever he wants. And just to round out the tools in the arsenal here, yes, he maintains Yoga Flame, and you can have the upward angled version as well, and yes, you can also hold it, just like the regular Yoga Fire, for multiple hits. So when it comes to the toolbox, the options, Dhalsim is working with a lot in this game. And just to round it all off, his level 2 is Yoga Sunburst, which he retains from Street Fighter V, and the hitbox is just as jacked as ever, because it is nowhere near Chun-Li when it initially hits. So that's the arsenal. That's why he's very scary on paper at bare minimum, because he's got so many tools to work with, right? But let's show you why people are scared of him mechanically as well when he gets out of the system. Because what you're about to see when it first got out there, people were outright stunned. So Dhalsim doing a combo into what you would assume would be some pretty respectable damage. Damage has never been the issue with Dhalsim. He can put out the damage. But it's about how far away he starts this combo from, because it's at the edge of what you would have to assume is one of his longer range moves, and then he uses the drive system to rush in and then complete the combo. So Dhalsim, if he wanted to do the big damage for it, he'd have to earn his way in one way or another. Here he can hit you with one of the big pokes, which you will get hit by, guaranteed, and then he can convert that into a full combo, which is wild. Now yes, that looks like it is a punish counter, but once again, you'll definitely get hit punish counter by his pokes. That's gonna happen. And just the fact that he hits you from so far, gets in and gets the combo. And yes, also, this would be an expensive combo, because going by the drive rush canceled from a hit into the hit itself and then EX move, that would be 5 drive bars. But still, the point remains, he can combo you from a full screen hit. And that, frankly, is wild. Not really something you'd be expecting out of him for sure. So stuff like this and all the moves you've seen before, this is why people are pretty sold on Dhalsim as a concept in this game as being pretty strong. He's a traditionally strong character, and what we're seeing out of him is pretty wild. Okay, so now, is Dhalsim overpowered forever? Well, maybe not. There's probably a good chance he will be a strong character, but let's now think about some of the things that work against Dhalsim. One of the traditional things in fighting games is health. He's almost certainly going to be a lower health character for sure, with just the amazing amount of options he has. But then again, usually a character having low health is a sign that they're a really good character. Like sight unseen, any character that has low health you assume is probably a higher tier, and any character with high health you're probably going to assume is worse off. That's traditionally how it usually goes. I know it's supposed to be balance concerns, but the balance is the guy has more health if they're bad, right? So generally speaking, if a character is low health, you can look at them and say, oh, they're probably pretty decent. Still, in the end though, lower health means you die in fewer hits, and Dhalsim will almost certainly be a lower health character. So that's negative number 1. Negative number 2 is how Street Fighter 6 is kind of designing all of its moves. So the game is going to be much more about whiff punishing than, say, previous entries like Street Fighter V. Street Fighter V eventually got there in the last season, but still, this is from the start. So big moves will have hurt boxes extending before the move actually hits, and I'll definitely leave a hurt box after the move is done. So ideally, if he does whiff with one of his big limb normals, it'll be easier than it's ever been to whiff punish the move and then smack Dhalsim for not having good spacing. Like in these examples you can see here, it's pretty wild. Just the range you can punish certain whiff moves from, it's just incredible. So assuming this holds true to Dhalsim like it does the other characters we've seen so far, then whiff punishing is something he has to worry about. He has to actually properly space moves, can't toss them out willy-nilly with like 0 repercussions. And potentially there's one final big weakness here Dhalsim might have in Street Fighter 6, and to be honest, this is speculative. I don't know, we have to get our hands on the game for sure to know, but the parry system might be his undoing. And no, I'm not talking about like the frame perfect parries or anything. We don't need to be that strict. He has the big normals. The really big normals, like say Stand Heavy Punch, they definitely got some recovery to them. So say in this scenario, you parry one of the big limbs, doesn't have to be a perfect parry, and then you immediately drive rush cancel the parry. And what ideally you would think would happen is, with the time stop the drive rush has, you are basically chasing down the limb as it's recovering from Dhalsim, and then maybe get some sort of punish. Maybe not a big punish, right? Maybe it could be something like a jab or a medium or something, but it is potentially possible. Again, honestly, it's theorycraft. I don't know for sure. But given what we've seen of the system so far in the game, it should work. Maybe? Hopefully? I don't know for sure. I guess time will tell. So those are some of my thoughts on the matter. Will Dhalsim be a strong character? Well, history has proven usually he is a pretty strong character in any given game he's in, right? So yeah, he'll probably be decent, but will he be so overpowered he'll destroy the rest of the cast for free? No, probably not. There's almost certainly going to be some sort of counterplay, unless maybe you're Zangief. Zangief, that boy usually has some problems against Dhalsim. So that all said, let me know what you think. Do you think Dhalsim's going to run the game for free, or do you think, maybe not so much? Post in the comments below, and otherwise, well, we're at the end of the video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some Street Fighter.